We ain't gonna even go like that, man. We just gonna put this thing up and let it go. What is good, everybody? Ooh, 37 look good on me, don't it? Friday was my birthday. Yes, sir. Friday was my birthday. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but if you can, appreciate it. If you can't, hit the thumbs up button. But look at that. Already, we're gonna have to stop that from happening. I don't know what that be about, but whatever. Uh, Friday was my birthday. I went to the car lot after setting the appointment up with them, and they told me that they was ready for me. They had me right. They were ready for me to go. And then guess what they did? I get down there and they tell me, we don't have the car that you wanted. We sold it. So that happened. And then the other guy told me, said, come on down, man, and we're gonna put you in a good car and all that other stuff. Then he said he got me approved, but I learned one lesson from buying a car. Never go to the dealership unless they got you right. Never go. So even with my guy, I still wouldn't go down there and see him, so I ain't had time. He said, Young, what's good, everybody, though? What's good, everybody? College football yesterday. Before I hop right into the subject and stuff, let me tell y'all, after the Super Bowl, after the college football playoffs over with and the Super Bowl's over with, NEF Knows podcast will take its break. The NBA season and the college season, I might have to lay off that. I might do the playoffs. I'm not sure how I want to do that, but I might do the playoffs because I got somebody that wants to do the playoffs with me and whatnot. But I might take that little time out and just get my relax on, and studio be up for rentations and stuff like that. And I got some different people coming through and all that good stuff. So, Giovanni, what's good, G? Anyway, man, so we can talk some college football, man. I mean, we had a good little showing yesterday. It was some good college football. Y'all know what happened yesterday, man, and don't be upset with me. I mean, I ain't going for nobody. Florida won. That's about all I can tell you about Florida. They won. Still ain't gonna be in that playoffs, but I definitely got a top 10 I put together for something for the committee to look at. You know what I'm saying? They tuning in to the little show and stuff like that. So, but I want to give y'all a spoiler. Out of my top 10, though, Georgia is not my top 4. Put that to rest. Anyway, we had Ohio State in that Chase Young story. I guess that's how the media hyped it up or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? The Chase Young story and they really kind of try to slide the Chase Young story out the way so they won't be on probation and none of that blah 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 BS. But they hyped up Maryland like Maryland was relevant. I don't know. I seen a lot of commercials that was giving away the Ohio State Maryland game like it was a big game or whatnot. I think Maryland beat them last year, but I mean, who cares really? Like Ohio State wasn't that relevant last year, but the media and CBS and whatever channel they played on, they hyped them up like that game was big. I think just to cover up the fact that Chase Young took some money to say he flew his girlfriend to the Rose Bowl or whatnot. He took some money from a family friend, and even Kurt Herbstreit said he shouldn't get nothing but a 2-game ban. I mean a 4-game ban or whatnot. Blah blah blah. I mean they still have Penn State on the schedule. They also got to play Michigan. So Ohio State, I think they're sitting pretty, but whatever. We also had Penn State, the number 14, was a old number 14, played Minnesota, and that game was a beatdown to be exact. Even though the score says 31-26 at the end, it still was a Minnesota still showed y'all that Penn State ain't ready to win no championship or ready to compete for no championship yet. And Penn State is more like a Notre Dame team. You know what I'm saying? They are giving a lot of things. And then when it's time to take advantage of the things they have been given, it's more like, nah, get out of the way. We're not that good for real. So that's how I feel about Penn State or whatnot. Baylor beat TCU in 3 overtime. Whatever. Um, Cincinnati beat UConn. Boring. Texas beat Kansas State. Texas is up and down. A lot of people saying Texas is back. Now they ain't not yet. They beat Kansas State, and the only reason Kansas State got a name like they had right then and there because they beat Oklahoma a couple weeks ago. It's all right, whatever. Clemson throws up 55 points on NC State. They're the defending champions. They're still undefeated. Whatever. I mean, they're going to be in the top 4 regardless because, I mean, just, because the top 4, everybody in the top 4 was going to play each other regardless. You got Notre Dame beat Duke. Florida beat Vandy. And Georgia beat, who Georgia beat? Oh, Missouri, yeah. Then you go to the big game, which was LSU versus Bama. And that game was good. It was the second half looked it better. I think LSU really kind of dominated the first half, but second half it looked it better. And to me, I think first of all we got to understand is Alabama has always been a second half, fourth quarter team, and that some years ago that's pretty much how that was going, but. They really turned it on in the second half, and I think Tua is not 100%, but you couldn't really tell that until the end of the game he was limping off the field or whatnot. But other than that, let's I guess we can get into my top 10. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put them up on the screen so you can see it how I put it down, and that's what I got. That's what I got for my top 10, and I'm gonna explain to you why. And I guess I can start at 10. Minnesota beat Penn State to death. And like I said, at the end of the game, it started to look better. Oh, look at my piece on the camera. Look at that. Yeah, I would eat my bad. Pull that on over here so y'all won't see no more. You can't get none. Anyway, Minnesota to me, still undefeated. If you notice that I took Florida out of the top 10. I think they was dropped down, but under the top 10, I'm not really paying no attention. But Lord have mercy. Anyway, so Minnesota did beat Penn State. Penn State ranked at 4 at that point in time, and I think the climb up over everybody that was in that from that 17 to 10, I think their resumes compared to Minnesota's, which Minnesota's schedule, they play whoever. I mean, they're like a Cinderella team right now. They riding a wave, and that wave just so happened to end up in Penn State, and they just so happened to beat the hell out of Penn State. And like I said, even though the score said 31-26 at the end of the game, they were beating the hell out of them regardless. They couldn't stop them, offense nor defense. I do think Oklahoma stays the same, stays at 9. Utah stays at 8. I think that's what they were. Yeah, Utah stays at 8. They might, stays at 8. Baylor beating TCU. Baylor's also undefeated. So I think, like I said, if we're not going to go with the undefeated teams, like with a Minnesota, I didn't think they should jump past Oklahoma nor Utah because Oklahoma nor Utah played a game this past weekend. But Minnesota's win over Penn State really, I said, boost them up because everybody in that resume from 16 to 10 either has a loss or their schedule doesn't stand up that well. To put them over Florida, I understand. Florida has 2 losses, and that's the only reason I jumped Minnesota over Florida. I will still say Florida will be at 11 and Auburn maybe be 12. But like even winning and staying above your rankings, like you really don't want to say Florida, 2-loss team who lost to Georgia and LSU should be still in the top 10. Even though they beat Vandy 56-0, but Vandy doesn't have a good game. Doesn't have a good game on their schedule. I mean, they haven't won a game relevant all year. So, that's my opinion. Let's see. So Baylor at 7, and they're undefeated. I give them that. And they've been playing some good football. Their schedule ain't all that in the bowl of biscuits, but they've been playing better than Oklahoma and Utah. So I go with the Baylor at 7. Now 6 for Bama. This is why. Bama played the number what it was 2 and 3. LSU was 2 and beat 3. Bama played LSU, and like I said, in the second half, the game really started to look like a Bama LSU game. And even though LSU won, I still don't say you drop Bama no further than 6 because they were the number 3 team playing against the number 2 team, and at that point in time, they're both on the SEC West, and that game really, like I said in the beginning, in order for anybody to go to the SEC title game, you got to pull up through Tuscaloosa first. You got to go through Nick Saban to get to that show. That's my main opinion. You got to go through Nick Saban and Tuscaloosa to get to the SEC title game, and that goes for anybody. LSU just at that point had good standings, and they played a good game, and they dominated, and they won. That's how that goes. I don't think they're out of it. I'm not gonna give y'all all of it, but I don't think they're out of it. Still got a lot of games. Still a couple games to be played that are significant to how the top 4 will fall once it's all said and done. Once the regular season is over, I go with Georgia at 5. The reason why I put Georgia at 5. I know a lot of people are saying Georgia should be 4. They should be in the top. No. And a lot of people are saying that because of who was Georgia's head coach. He says, okay, I got a comment. Appreciate that. He said 5 through 10. I got to move it over here so I can see it better. He says 5 through 10, if you had to put $100 on one of those teams to beat Alabama, who do you take? 5 through 10. None of them. None of them wouldn't even stand up. I don't think none of them stands a chance, to be honest. Georgia might give up a fight, but I just don't feel Georgia has the conversation of winning big, winning a national championship. Maybe 2 years ago when they was at the show. I'm gonna put that right back in so y'all can see it again. Look, man, don't worry about my piece. That I was eating as prepping and all that good stuff. But anyway, Georgia had their opportunity, maybe a couple years ago when they played Bama in the national championship. Even the year after that when they played them in the SEC title game, they can't beat Bama, man. It's just something about Nick Saban and his understudies or whatnot. Thank you. I appreciate it. I got a message said they rocking with the show. I appreciate that, guy. I appreciate that indeed. Let me jump back on it. So I put Georgia at 5, and I can't add Georgia to the top 4 because what have they proven, really? They played a Notre Dame team, and even though the scoreboard said what it said, they beat them. I mean, the scoreboard said they beat them, they won that game. But their resume, second half of the season, has been subpar. I mean, in the same sentence, Georgia played a Kentucky team with no quarterback, and it went all the way down to the late third, before they scored a point, and the final score was 21-0. But if to me, your defense can't stop a quarterback that is not throwing the ball, something is there. I mean, they stopped them from scoring, but a quarterback that is not throwing the ball, who barely completed a pass, you struggle with that. I think your defense could have made something different happen. That Georgia team is not what that Georgia team used to be last year. You barely got the running game going in the second half. I mean, the running game to get going to the second half. So that's why I leave Georgia at 5. I'll move them up to 5, but that's about the highs I go with them because They lost to a South Carolina team, right? They also, I don't know. I think that's the swap game for real between Georgia and Alabama for real, for real. Because, like, to be honest, I'd say put them a tie at 5 to be exact. Because Georgia hasn't made that point of saying we belong here. You beat a Florida team, which also lost to LSU. Can we really say Florida is back? I mean, that's the significant that you got a Florida win, a win against Florida, which you've beaten them 3 years in a row. Cool. You got a Notre Dame win, which is significant, but I mean it's decent. But Alabama's first loss, I can't pull them away from 5, and I really can't drop them to 6. So it's like I say a teeter between Georgia and Alabama. To be honest, I mean, hell, they had a couple of months ago, they had a tie at 5. So that is just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I'd say Georgia and Alabama tied for 5th or something like that. But you can't really just say that right off the bat. Because, I mean, Georgia still has to play Auburn, which that should be a good game if Auburn does what they're supposed to do and knock them off. But Georgia also plays A&M, so like I said, Georgia still has a little bit to prove. I mean, they did knock out Mizzou last night and beat them to death, but they're not top 4 yet. I say give them another, give them just something. I mean, let Oregon lose or something. Ohio State will lose or something. Anyway, let's go to the 4. I put Oregon at 4. The reason why. Oregon resume, as far as winning goes, let's go back to when Oregon played Auburn, right? A bobble touchdown pass, Auburn wins the game, right? Let's say that pass dropped, Oregon is undefeated now. It wouldn't be a conversation about it. Oregon also, since the Auburn game, have been beating their opponents by 25 points or more. I mean, that's, and they haven't showed a sign of struggling since the Auburn game. And that's the reason why I put them over. I mean, the loss between Oregon and the loss at Georgia, that's why I would leave Oregon where they at now and at 4, because they lost to a top 10 team. Or at that point in time, I think they lost to a top 25 team. We'll put it that way. Georgia lost to South Carolina, who ain't been ranked in 3 years. That's why I would give them where they're sitting at. And to be honest, I think Oregon still has a couple of games left on their schedule, and I think they'll win that conference too. So that, like I said, it's still a little rocky. So Clemson, you just bumped them up to 3 just because they Clemson and they the defending champions, and that's what we've been riding with all year and all that other stuff. So we just bumped them up. 2, Ohio State. And the reason why I switched Ohio State with LSU is because, hell, LSU just battle tested. I mean, and they did beat Alabama. I mean, you ask me, that's the top team in the country regardless. Even sitting at 5 or 6. They still the top team in the country right now, compared to the top 10, if you ask me. So Ohio State, I think the Ohio State game with Maryland, the media gave that game a little bit more than what it was bargained for. Like, that game was like big for no reason to me, whatever. I mean, it wasn't that big. That's just my opinion. It was a lot of commercials on TV saying, hey, Ohio State is going to play Maryland, and then blah, blah, blah. I mean, I just think they gave that game just a little bit too many commercials. I mean, wasn't that good? 73 to what, 14-10? Some garbage like that. Like, who cares about that? It's garbage. Anyway, so Ohio State to me sits at 2. And that Chase Young story hasn't unfolded all the way. And even though Kirk Herbstreit stuck his nose in there and said he think Chase Young should get a 4-game ban, cool, whatever. I just don't think that you can really say um, you can really say that Ohio State deserves to be one when they got a guy on the team taking money and stuff. Ain't time to get paid yet. That's coming though. It's coming though. It's not here yet. So LSU won, and like I said, they played the second. They played one of the best teams in the country right now. I mean, they were showing dominance in the first half, but the second half looked totally different from the first half, and Bama was basically playing catch up. So I say LSU number one, and they deserve to be here. Be honest on it, they've won top 25 matchups all year, and that's that. They played a lot of SEC games, which a lot of SEC teams have been ranked all year. So like they proved to everybody, that they can hang and beat the best. So to be the man, you got to beat the man, and they can't play Clemson. So I think beating the man would be Alabama. So I mean, when you beat Alabama, your stock goes up. When Alabama wins the national championship, their coach's stock go up. He said, did Joe Burrow win the Heisman? Oh, indeed. He said, this your top 25 or the real one? Oh, that's my top 25. You don't like it? Make sure you leave a comment in the bottom and let me know what you like and dislike about it. He said, did Joe Burrow win the Heisman yesterday? Indeed. I think this is my thing with Heisman talk. Joe Burrow showed poise. He didn't have a turnover, I don't think. He didn't have a turnover against Bama. He throwed up. Yeah, he didn't have a turnover against Bama. Throw 3 touchdowns against Bama. 392 through the air. I mean, in third and fives, taking it, running it, and not coughing the ball up, taking some licks for the team and standing in that pocket and throwing. Yes, I think Joe Burrow signed his resume, signed his name on that Heisman Trophy yesterday. I honestly think Joe Burrow has been solid and a good quarterback all year, but I don't think like you can't say like Jalen Hurts. We'll just say Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been a running, passing quarterback all year. So you got to come in. You got to make sure you got to come in. The show starts at noon, so you make sure you come in so I can explain all that to you because I had already explained why Oregon is at 4. But I'm gonna address it again just for you, just because you came in late, I guess. But anyway, Jalen Hurts has been a running, passing quarterback all year, and if Kansas State didn't put a whooping on them like you think they put the whooping, if Kansas State offense hadn't have been that good, then you probably be like, well, Jalen Hurts still did this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? So I think Joe Burrow has been a passing, strategic quarterback all year. Yesterday, Joe Burrow versus Alabama really just kind of sealed the deal for him. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why I think like it's more like he's been Heisman talk all year. I think the games where, like the Florida game, he passed like 4 touchdowns, about 300 through the air. No defense getting played in that game, so you can't really say, oh, he played great. There just wasn't no defense getting played on both sides of the ball. At one point in time, they both had 4 touchdowns through the air. So against Auburn, he was solid, but he wasn't. He put his team in the position to win a game. Against Alabama, he had to be the quarterback, the Heisman quarterback that everybody's speaking about. So yeah, I think yesterday helped write his name on that Heisman Trophy. He said, I like it, but Oregon at 4 and Georgia at 5. Bama definitely should be 6. The reason, like I told everybody earlier, the reason I had Oregon at 4 because their loss came to a top 25 opponent, and Georgia's loss came to a 3 and 4. No, yeah, about a 3 and 5. It's South Carolina team at home, so that's rough. So that's why I say that's how Oregon got over them. That's my opinion. So that's how that go. But I did want to bite that piece while y'all were watching me. I ain't gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Mm. But let me squeeze back over this way then. I know y'all like the little situation I got up there at the top right there. Way over there. Anyway, the NEF TV. But anyway, that's I really just had to give up the final. I think that's my top 25 for the not top 20, top 10 for the for the next rankings that comes out or whatnot. He said you seen they put Bama at 2. Yeah, Bama was at 2 then, but that was yesterday though, bro. Bama definitely not at 2, and the rankings haven't came out yet. So, they were at 3 yesterday. So, I don't think you lose and go up. I ain't think that, but I mean, somebody could say that. Who knows? But y'all got anything for me? Let me know. Shout out to y'all with the likes. Make sure y'all share this to y'all people, man. Make sure everybody and their mama know what time it is. The reason why, like I said, it's a lot of games left to be played. Penn State and Ohio. Penn State can sneak back in. You ask me. You notice that I did not put them in my top 10. He said it's Bama. They gonna do all they can to make sure they play for the title. I think right now Bama's on the outside looking in, and if you've been watching the show, mostly, to me, it hasn't been what you put on. It's mostly been like the way the committee and the power rankings and coaches poll and the AP polls and stuff like this are coming out. To me, it's been more or your loss and what you put on tape. Because you got to understand this. Clemson ain't lost to nobody. And they were dropped out of the top 4 because of a scare in North Carolina. Since then, they've been putting up numbers. Trevor Lawrence still hasn't been playing good football, but that doesn't matter because they're winning and teams that are in big positions are losing. So you have to look at it like that. But in the same sentence, you can also say that if Bama does get back in the top 4, and it's not a big if because right now to me they're either at 5, tied with Georgia, or they're 6. The top 4 teams still have to play conference titles. Ohio State still has Penn State on the even though Penn State lost this weekend, they still play Ohio State. Ohio State still plays Michigan. That game's always good. It hasn't been good in 2 years, but Urban Meyer's not there anymore. Dwayne Haskins is not there anymore. JT Barrett is not there anymore. So that game's still gonna be big. And you ask me, this is Michigan can play spoiler for anybody. So like I said, is Bama out of it? I don't think so. They just keep winning. That Iron Bowl will be interesting, but to me, Bama puts up them numbers on Auburn and whoever else they play this year, and you just think the top 2 teams, said Ohio State and Clemson and LSU are top teams. Right. Ohio State, but Ohio State also has the best player in the country. Let them tell it, Chase Young, in some serious trouble with this money situation. You know what I'm saying? So you never know what anybody NCAA might want to do with that. They might just take Ohio State and drop them out of the top 4 just because they can do that. And then you got Clemson, which Clemson still has to play for their conference title, and I don't think they'll lose. He said, Cam, you said yourself Bama should be at 6. What if the committee? Okay, cool. They talking to each other. I appreciate that. He said, so what if the committee itself ranks Bama at 6? That means we don't control our own destiny. That means somebody else has to fail for us to make it. The same it's been every year. Who's trying to put Bama in it? Yeah, I see that, Cam. I bet you better wake up, Cam. Get to talking that Bama talk you want to. These Bama fans don't play that, man. They don't play that. Right now, like I said, right now it's more like Bama, not Bama. Let me put that back up there so I can help myself. Right now, you got to think Oregon. I'm gonna pull it up for you because I think that's what my remaining games was too. Georgia plays Auburn next weekend. You gotta watch Georgia because they can be a sucker move and get snatched out of there. And that Georgia still has games left on the schedule. They play A&M, which A&M ain't a good team right now, but Georgia plays A&M, Texas A&M. They also play Georgia Tech, who's been subpar. But anyway, and they also play Auburn next weekend. So like I said, it's still some games on the schedule left to be played, and it's still just a toss-up right now. Honestly, the top 3 teams, Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, Oregon, Ohio State, depending on how the committee looks at a lot of stuff, and be honest, Minnesota, if they win their conference title, that like it's the top 10 to me. My top 10, it's some games left to be played, but it's some factors in that'll make Minnesota actually can maybe squeeze up a couple of slots or whatnot, and get a good bowl game. It'd be kind of hard for them. To me, it'd be kind of hard for them to slide them into the 4 unless they remain undefeated. So, like I said, it's still just a lot of talking right now. I mean, you do have Bama, to me, sitting either tied with 5 or they're sitting at 6. But to me, I don't think they're out of it. It's just they're gonna need some help from the top 4 teams, and Michigan can help, and Virginia, if they win the East Coast, I think that's the Atlantic East Coast, something like that. But it's still it's a lot of teams from 5 down are gonna need some help from the top 4 if they're talking about getting in. And Cam, I think that's mostly what where a committee will sit right now, because the way it goes right now, to me, the top 3 teams are definite. 4 and down, 4 to 10, it's still a little, it's still going to be a toss around. Because Georgia ain't proved to y'all. Georgia just showed y'all yesterday that they can beat up on Mizzou. So it's up to somebody else to go out there and beat up on Mizzou. So he said, so what makes Clemson the top team? Clemson's best win in the same win. Right. And like I said, Clemson, to me, is just getting a floater, to be honest. And because they're the defending national champs, that's about it. He said, so what makes Clemson the top team? Clemson's best win is the same win we have, and their strength of schedule is a lot worse than ours, and we've been performing a lot better. Indeed. He said, let's not forget Clemson was a failed 2-point conversion from losing to an unranked team. He said, so what makes them a top team? They're just getting a floating device. Honestly, they get a flotation device because they won the national championship last year. That's it. To me, that's how the committee gonna slide them up there. He said, but the same team put y'all to sleep in the championship. Oh, see, they going at each other. I ain't got nothing to do with that part right there. Definitely going at each other. Appreciate y'all too coming through though, and everybody coming through and helping us with the show. Oh, I had finna let y'all take over. My bad. Tripping. Anyway, so I say he said negative 2018 Clemson did. They lost the entire front 7, and Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked a fraction of what they did. Right. To me, like I said, to me, the only reason Clemson will get bumped up like they are right now is because of what they did last year. And that's the only thing. He said Clemson's 2018. He said 2018's Clemson was a top team. 2019 Clemson hasn't proven to be. Right. And their schedule is weak too. So it'll be interesting to see what but would you really want to bump a Oregon or a Georgia up to 3? Because a Oregon lost to an Auburn, but a Georgia lost to a South Carolina and struggled with a Kentucky. You ask me, Kentucky had 2 big top 10 top 25 teams on the ropes. So, like I said, would it be? I think Clemson to get that pass because of what they done last year, and they're like the only team in there that's getting that pass. Yeah, that's a Tampa Bay cup I'm drinking out of too. Just in case y'all ain't know. That's pretty much how that'll go. So with it keeps jumping down, man. I don't know what the problem is. I be wanting to sit right there, but then by the time I get through talking, it been a roll back up. Look, it going now. So, I think that's pretty much how my top 10 will go. And I think mostly it's just Clemson gets that pass because of what they done last year. That's all Clemson's gonna get. Far as LSU being one, LSU should be one. But like you said, with the Georgia Bama situation, that's a flip flop because Bama lost to right now the number one to me the number one team in the nation, and they only lost by 5 points. What a better second, the comeback in the second half made it more relevant than how they looked, because if it had a carried on to a beating like it was in the first half, then I think dropping them to 6 would have been kind of like right there. But far as it goes by saying Bama came back in the second half and they made it a game and made it look better, he said, trust me, I ain't arguing about where Bama's at. We lost. But if we giving Clemson a pass for pass dominance, why is it a problem when Bama gets a pass for pass dominance? Oh man, that is a tough question. Okay, let me pull it back up then. Let me pull it back up. So, if we're saying drop Bama, where we drop Bama to 5, which I even though my note says, even though my thing says 6, between Bama and Georgia, honestly, you can't honestly say they both can sit at 5 right now. I mean, sitting at 5 is good enough to me because I don't feel neither one of the team. I don't feel that the college playoffs are finally set. We're rolling with this and like that. No, because we still have the regular season to play, and Clemson's still undefeated. That's even though the scare at North Carolina, Trevor Lawrence has been playing like he's a true freshman. They're still undefeated. They started the season off ranked at what, 2, 1, somewhere in the mirror. Started 1, 2, or 3, something like that. They started in this position, and you can't really drop them. That was a tough question, man. I appreciate you throwing that on my chest like that. But they started here, so like it'll be down, to just drop them out of the top 10 because of the scare at North Carolina. And there was a 2-point conversion away from losing to an unranked team. Well, Georgia lost to an unranked team. That's why I say that the Georgia Bama is like a flip flop for 5. That's my main reason why, because Georgia lost to a SC. I think they were 3-5 when they lost to SC, South Carolina, and Bama just lost against LSU, and they both was ranked 2 and 3. So like I said, between 6 and 5, and I wouldn't say they both have to sit at 6 and 5. I honestly think they're tied for 5th place, and you can't really have a 6 when you got a, So I didn't put that. That's just where I made it up or whatnot. So to me, honestly, right now they're sitting at 5. You can't drop them that far down. Not losing to LSU, and LSU was right on top of their head. So right now, I will leave Oregon where he at, and Bama and Georgia at 5, tied for 5 for right now, and that's how that'll hold up, and until we get further information or we get some more games played or whatnot. But right now, sitting at 5 or tied for 5 will be Bama and Georgia, and Bama's resume compared to Georgia's resume, they've got about the same situation. The reason Clemson is so high is because they are undefeated. And that's pretty much where they're going to sit at. But the committee could go differently now. But this is just my opinion, top 10. The committee could go different. They might leave Ohio State at number 1. I don't think they should, and I don't think nobody in the world agrees with that. He said, ranking aside as a biased Bama fan, I just think it's hypocritical for the common narrative to be Bama gets this or Bama gets that in a negative way when the same people are saying Clemson should be. Ranking aside. Okay, he said getting this or getting that when the opinion is based off the same thing. I can feel that too. Ew. Stuck me again. I like it. But they still undefeated though. Even though I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying about how they're still undefeated though. So is Minnesota. And Minnesota's out of the top. I mean, they're just right there. So, it doesn't mean, like I say, it doesn't mean it's going to happen that way, but the season's not over yet. And that's pretty much how that's going to go. Everybody still has their opportunities, and it's still a lot of things on the table left to be played. Still a couple games on the table that are left to run with, if I can say that. He said, oh no! You good? Because I like how you bringing it to it. You know what I'm saying? Because you keeping that flow moving to a point of saying Clemson and Bama are in the same situation, and they significant wins came from here and came from there, but they schedule garbage just like our schedule is. I like the way that came at me, and it made me think harder about how you rank Clemson. And actually, the fourth team really is just like let me slide him out the way type situation. Really, it's really Clemson, Georgia, Bama, and that's like right now what 3 through 5 looks like. And the only reason, like I said, the only reason Clemson gave Clemson that situation, and they just getting a pass, honestly, because it's still undefeated. They won the national championship last year. They still look like garbage. Their defense is not that good, but they have a weak schedule too. So at this point, it's a style point situation. I mean, that's about it. I mean, they just got the better style points from that point on. But right now with Clemson and everybody sitting where they sitting at, it's just where they sitting at. And I think LSU, if LSU rolls, continue to roll, they're there. Number 1. Ohio State, if that Chase Young story doesn't happen the way everybody think, if that Chase Young story snatches Ohio State down, then they will sit where they're going to sit at or whatever, or they're going to snatch them out. And then you get to add another team or whatnot to the big show or whatever. But Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, Minnesota, even though Penn State, I felt like they lost to a small ranked team, even Penn State has a chance to climb back into the conversation because they still got to play Ohio State. Ohio State is like the only team in my top 4 that is not out of the water yet. Ohio State and Oregon, they're not out of the water yet. LSU, they still got to play. They still got to win. They still got to win games. They don't have to impress anymore. You've asked me. They don't have to impress anymore. But whoever's sitting at 4, you're going to get to see that game. That's going to be the best game because whoever LSU plays, and it could be a Bama, could be a Georgia. But then it'll be a Bama versus LSU rematch or a LSU versus Georgia rematch, So that's how that go. So that's all I got. Hey, I appreciate everybody that came through, man, and everybody that showed up and put that stamp on it. And I love you, Brady Jackson. I appreciate you coming through, man. You're top subscriber, my guy. I got something special for you when we put it together. But everybody that came through, I can't really see who's in there watching or whatnot. If you put a comment down in there, I'd definitely be able to see that part, though. But I appreciate everybody coming through, man, and chopping it up with me for the weekend. He said, look at that. Oh, my God. Look at that guy right there. All good, my guy. All good. Let me see what I can put up there. I don't know. I ain't gonna get into that. Anyway, I appreciate everybody coming through, man. And if you stuck around for the whole show, if you came in late, you got in here early. I'm trying to tell y'all that after the college football playoffs and the Super Bowl, NEF knows will take its football break. I got a person who wants to do basketball, but I'm not sure if I'm doing basketball. Period. I might give it a hear and take there, but I will be definitely taking my football break. Definitely taking a break after football season over with. All football season over with. So I got an NFL show coming up. Yeah, I got an NFL show coming up. I want to say it's Tuesday. I'm gonna start adding it Tuesday, and Friday will be the college football show up until, Friday, and everything's at noon. So if you catch me, it's gonna be at noon. So Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Or Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday, noon. That way, that gives me a chance to prep for the situation and bring y'all some good content and good stuff like that. And I don't have a NFL show this week, so it's really like NFL kind of coming in the back and whatnot. So anyway, I appreciate everybody coming out, man, and helping me out with this everything. I don't know if y'all read the scroll at the bottom, but I'm 25 subs away from getting me a web link. That means that it'll be www.youtube/NEFTV.com or something like that, or .com/NEFTV, something like that. I need 25 subs. But y'all definitely keep liking, keep sharing this with your peoples and everything Gucci. One more thing, I did reach out to Corona, not to sponsor us, just I wanted to use the cameras in Corona, so they turned me down. So we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep going at Corona until they send us some help. But anyway, man, that's my show. I appreciate everybody that came through. Like, sub, and subscribe. NEF TV, I'm out.